All right. Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Devil platform with another message. I will say this is going to be an excellent message. Much information from the Most High Yah. Okay, and I will say this is a lovely day in which the Most High Yah has made, and I, Sister Deborah, shall rest therein. I dropped 2 videos yesterday, and this one here today is more emotional than ever. I've gotten calls regarding, did you see what's on the news? Did you see what's going on? No, I have not. The reason why is because the Spirit of the Most High Yah has done something in me to keep me from looking and beholding actually what is going on. It is not to say that he's going to cause me to continue to not behold what is going on, but it's almost like he almost set it in me. And let me explain to you what I mean. Okay, during the time of the virus that the fake CDC GERM came out, I'm gonna start calling it that, CDC GERM. When it came out and it started to manifest itself greatly in its highest peak, I begin to tell people on these platforms, on these devil platforms, that you ain't seen nothing yet, because we're going into a 3rd stage. This is the 2nd stage. Every last one of you missed the first one. You missed it. Yes, it was a first one. You missed the 2nd one. You sat and rested in the 2nd one. But when he told me in the midst of this here CDC germ, he told me that there's going to be a 3rd stage. But when he told me about the 3rd stage, I got trouble in my spirit. I got, I would say fear came over me, saying if it's a 3rd stage and I'm feeling this way with the CDC germ, how is it? Not that I had it, but I'm talking about in my spirit, man. Father Yah, what is going to go on that's going to cause it to be a 3rd stage? And then see, the Most High did not say to me that the 3rd stage, what this 3rd stage would be. All he left with me, his prophetess, was that they're going to be a 3rd stage. Almost 4 weeks ago, I told many, I can't say I told many, but I made a video stating that we were in the 3rd stage. That was almost 4 weeks ago. Now, as we enter into the 3rd stage, now you got to understand, we enter into the 3rd stage 4 weeks ago. Now, watch this here. Just as that CDC germ, if you do your study, it entered into the United States in January. But they never informed you all of it. No one never said anything. But if you now look up and do your research, you'll find out it was here in January, and the government and Trump and them knew it. No one said anything about it. So that's going back to tell you that just because it is upon you don't mean that it had not already been here. So that's how this 3rd stage came in. Now, when the Most High tells me about a 3rd stage, and I'm troubled in spirit about it, it is so much comfort from him, because mentally my flesh cannot handle it. Because I'm like saying to the Father, hold up. How can it be a 3rd stage? How must anyone handle the 3rd stage if it's going to be worse than this stage that we're in, Father? But what he was saying to me was, let not my heart be troubled. I got this, Deborah, because let me explain to y'all what those videos were back then when I took a lot of videos off, because I don't play that game that on YouTube and Facebook. I don't rumble like they do. But what I did say, I tell you what I told y'all. And this was about 5 weeks ago, maybe about 6 weeks ago. No, about 5 weeks ago. I made a video stating that the Most High said it's going to be a 3rd stage, and it's going to be worse than the stage that we were in, which is the 2nd stage. See, the CDC germs were the 2nd stage. We're in a 3rd stage now. Now, what he never told me, you guys, what the 3rd stage was consist of. I want y'all to hear me, because the Most High finna bless you in a way you ain't never been blessed, to warn you ahead of time. From out of the mouth of the prophet that warn you all that there's going to be a third stage. But guess what he didn't do? Like he do all the time. He didn't break that third stage down in me. He didn't tell me if it was coming from the north or the south. He didn't tell me if it was coming from up or down, or how it would come in and the way that it would come in and what it would be like. That's what made me feel so troubled in spirit, because he never told me what the picture would look like that he had painted. So this is something that he has his hand in. Let me tell you why. When he gave it to his prophet, that's why he wanted me to know that this is a third stage, Deborah, and it's going to be worse than the second, meaning it's going to be worse than the virus. And at that time, I was troubled, you all. I was troubled to where I needed that comfort, and that comforter, oh, yes, he came. Because that's how I got through it. I could not mentally, in my flesh, mentally sleep, mentally think, mentally focus, because it was too heavy for my flesh. So the comforter, which is spirit, he had to come to comfort me, that it too will be all right. It too shall pass. Now, all of this that's going on, it's going to pass, but it's going to be a minute. But this is what I want to send to you all out there. To my Hebrew house of Israel, I want you to hear this, and hear this real good. Hear this here. So when he told me about the third stage, and then about 4 weeks ago, he told me we are into the third stage. And I was like, oh my. I started in my mind, in my flesh, trying to picture the third stage. Oh, they're going to bring the virus out. Or it's going to be the vaccine. I start to come to terms in my flesh. It's got to be something like that. Never clicking it for sure, but just trying to pinpoint what the Father was sharing with me with this third stage. Now, the key to it was this morning when he overshadowed me. See, greater is he that's already in me. But when the Most High comes not only in you, but he come upon you, it's a feeling out of this world. Because now he wants to indulge you what is before you, and he prepared you from the inside out. Buckle up your seatbelt, sister. That's what he's saying. He's saying to me, I'm just speaking it to you all in a way that you all can get it. So I'm in the kitchen and I'm in my water. That's where he revealed a lot of things to me in the water. I'm in the kitchen in my water, right? Washing dishes. And he started to speak to me, and I noticed, how did I just come out of this whole total situation and crying and emotions? And it wasn't like it was a natural thing. I was like, is this my flesh getting this emotion? What is this? And then he told me, I'm upon you. And he began to tell me things. He told me to write these things down. I got some topics on here that I need to discuss. But this is what he summed it up to me. Let me tell you how beautiful this creator is that y'all have forsaken and have been disobedient to, have not followed, have not even learned, desire to really study, to know who he is and to feel him in you and upon you. I began to go into a cry and an emotion feeling. And I thought about my people that's out there fighting. I began to call them my babies. You know, I began to feel as if the people out there that's rotting and burning and being destructive and violent, I began to feel them like it was my own children. I began to think of my sons. And I said to myself, I say, what is this feeling that's on me causing me to cry? I begin to feel them. I begin to say, even out of my mouth, those are my babies out there. They don't know any better. They out there fighting for what they think is right. They don't know righteous. They don't know justice. And the Most High started to deal with me and began to show me things. And he began to reveal more and more to me as I was doing it. But I found myself in a spiritual crying out, a spiritual inner man. And I'm telling you that comforter for sure comfort me today. And when he finished comforting me, he comforted me. And when he finished, He gave me what he gave me about 5 or 6 weeks ago. The third stage. Now, let me explain to you what he said the third stage is. I am total against violence, unrighteous and injustice actions, destruction, and all of that. I'm totally against it. The Most High is totally against it as well. We cannot go out there without his right hand and his stretched out arm. That's who I am. I believe that, but we can go out there with his right hand and his stretched out arm on justice and faith. And not just on justice and faith and righteousness. See, what he was sharing with me after I was in the water and I was crying, he was saying, if the people that have said things and have taught people for time after time and all these years, they didn't give those people, Deborah, that's out there destructive anything to go on. Had they given them something, at least one in the crowd would stand up on my behalf, on righteousness and justice, and they would teach that thing in the midst of the multitude. But because he said there are many out here proclaiming that they are kings and queens, they are leaders, and they speak on our behalf, the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah. The Most High said they are deceivers, Deborah. They are deceiving the people that they are making their audience. They are deceiving them, and it goes back to what I've been trying to tell you all. This is how the Comforter came to me, but I'm going to tell you how he topped it off. He gave me some topics to talk to you about, but what he really did when he nailed me here, he said, Deborah, you remember when I told you about the third stage? I said, yes, Father, you do. I want y'all to write this down and put it in your heart. Pray about it. Talk about it. Put it in your heart. He said that the third stage is going to be worse than the second one, which is the germ that the CDC had. So you see the lives that was lost, right? The Most High third stage don't have to be lives lost. Deborah don't know what it is. That's what made my spirit trouble. But because he didn't give me the fullness, he only gave me a tap. Today, he kind of gave me something to assure that, yes, those are your babies out there that have not heard truth. Don't know nothing about justice. Don't know nothing about righteousness, because there's too many on the hidden platform all up in Babylon, the United States, pretending that they're serving me when they should have been out in those multitudes. Those multitudes don't have to go out there if they would have stood up for justice and righteousness. I said, hallelujah. I try to explain to people, my calling is a prophetess. I even tell you all how I try to stay away from teaching, because I don't know how to go in and pull out. Because in one verse, I can see 1,000,000 revelations. You get what I'm saying? I'm kind of exaggerating when I say 1,000,000, but that's how I try to stay away from teaching. Because you can give me a chapter with one verse in it, one verse, and I can't pull out of it, because every word shows me a revelation. So therefore, it's hard for me to teach. So it's almost something he said in me to be the prophetess that he has called. I am to judge the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah. I am to tell what is before us and what is coming. But like he said, when you get a bunch of people like the ones that's on these platforms that's been on here for years and gave these people spirit nothing to run on. See, if they would have given the spirit, they wouldn't be on these devil platforms right now. They are all on the platform still giving you news, while the people, the babies, or our babies, are out there burning and doing the best they know how for us what they think is justice and righteous. But let me tell you what happened. Let me explain to you all what's about to happen. The Most High told me that, Deborah, I told you the third stage is going to be worse than the second one, which is what's the second was the CDC. But the third is going to be worse. But this is what he said. I never forget when he told me about the third stage coming. He said, right at the end, at the tip of it, he said, I'm coming. He said he's coming with his right hand. And I'm going to tell y'all something. For almost a year, I pleaded with people to understand his right hand. I said, pull out all the verses, you guys, in the biblical, and learn of his right hand. 99.9, they don't take heed to the prophets, nor the prophetess. Now, back in the days, the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah, they took heed to what the prophetess said, but they didn't take heed to the prophet. But I believe the people who keep calling Yahweh, trying to teach you all on these platforms, they are so far from Yah that they are the deceivers that Yeshua spoke about. But let me explain to y'all what the Most High said. He said to me, he said, Deborah, don't you remember? He just did it like in a flick. He didn't say it like I'm saying it, like taking my time saying it. He said it, and I was like, the reason why I'm saying it like, it's because I remember when he said and told me it was going to be a worser. And I remember my heart being troubled. But the moment he said to me, but I'm coming with my right hand. Let me explain something to you all that you don't know. This God, this Yahuwah that I serve, when he has to use his right hand, everything up comes down. So he knew that I was feeling that those were my babies out there who didn't know what I know, who didn't know what my sons and daughters know about him. They don't know nothing about righteousness and justice. And those that do know, they never stood up for it. And they never will. But the beauty of it all, we're going to lose some. And there's many things about to happen. And if you really behold the whole picture in this day and time, you're going to realize there's never been a CDC germ that was considered a virus, because now it's out of the picture. And now in the backwoods where the elites are using their news and they websites and their media to make you keep thinking it's adding up, and nobody's seeing nothing. Ain't nothing adding up. All of it is a hoax and a lie. But let me get to you with what the Most High shared with me. He told me, he said, Deborah, you know that vision that I gave you, not vision, that in a sense, you might as well say it's a vision. What I told you is going to be a third stage. He said, I told you it's going to be a third stage and it's going to be worse. So when the Most High come to his prophet and tell him a situation is going to be worse, so what's the first thing I'm going to feel? I'm going to drop. And I did. But I remember what brought me back up after I dropped when he told me. He said, but I'm coming. And I'm coming with my right hand. So it all makes sense now. Now that we're in the 4th week of the 3rd stage. And believe it or not, we're in the up level. Like they said, the virus is going up. Well, we're in the up level of the 3rd stage because it's going on for a week since the 3rd stage came in. Now watch this. This is what you see. It's what's going on. I put out you all 2 videos yesterday. And I told you this don't have anything to do with George. It don't have nothing to do with the police on his neck. This picture is greater and it's different. You got people out there being violent and destructive and don't even know why. They just out there because others. They don't have the fullness of what's going on. But in the midst of it, this Yahuwah that Sister Deborah served in the wilderness, that teaches me Abide in me. Trust me with his voice and his word. He said, don't forget I told you. Because I began to be in the kitchen and start to call these people that was out there my babies. And I started to feel these people as if they were really my babies. And I began to think about my sons and daughters as if they were my sons and daughters. And the Most High shared with me that, what did I tell you, Deborah? And then at a flick of a second, there was that right hand. So in spite of what they're doing out there, the destruction and the violence and everything's taking place, the Most High going to show up and show out. That's when he sent his right hand. Everything up got to come down. His right hand is Christ. It is his own power. He don't have to send his right hand. He can send the whole host of heaven. But he said he's coming. He said, just as I told you that there's the third stage, and I told you in that third stage, right at the end, before the end, I'm coming with my right hand. You go back, if it's not one of the videos that I think I took off all of my videos, but it might be still on there. I told you that he said that he's coming, and he's coming with his right hand. And that was to assure me, his prophet, that all is well, Deborah. These things need be. My right hand of power, okay, that created all things in the heavens and on the earth, is coming for my babies. So he wanted me to know that. Yeah, you feeling that, because that's why I got you. It's feeling that these people out here being destructive is your babies. I want you to get a taste that they are my babies. And I'm coming. But when he said with his right hand, the world that you once knew, you would never see it be the way that it once was. When you see white people jumping up and being on the sideline near us, not very many, but they're out there, that's walking the biblical. While our stiff-necked rebellions, disobedient men on these devil platforms, they're not telling the story right. They have deceived so many on these platforms. To those that's out there, they don't know nothing about the Most High Yah. All they know is justice is injustice. Righteous is unrighteous. Because we failed to give them what they needed in the time of this. But I thank the Most High for knowing all things. And knowing that in it all, he has a plan. So Sister Deborah wants to share with you all this. You rest assured. Rest assured of this. No matter how many lives going to be lost. No matter how the buildings come down and how many fires and how the militaries come roaring in and how the white supremes or whatever they call themselves and the KKK, all of them gonna roar up. But let me tell you something, ain't nothing gonna outride my Father's right hand. When that right hand come, it's even time for me to end my life. And I don't mean like literally die in my life. I mean everything about me gonna have to bow down. So I'm saying to you all, in spite of it, the Most High has given it to the prophetess that his right hand is gonna sum this whole situation up. Now we might have a little ways to go, but he said it's all right, Deborah. It's all right. Because I was so emotional, because I was feeling that these are my babies that's out there. And I'm feeling like they were my sons and daughters out there. So I was like, oh, Father, what is this? And I began to cry and be emotional. I said, my babies out there, doing what they think is righteous, doing what they think is justice, because they don't have nothing else to go on. They don't have nothing else to fight with, because those that you have trusted with your word to spread it abroad and to unite with them failed in every corner of the earth, and they have nothing to go on but to go out and do what they do. And then you have bishops and pastors and seers and watchmen and evangelists and prophets and prophetess and teachers and ministers standing on the sideline way back in the backwoods telling you all on these devil platforms what's what. They should be ashamed of themselves, because these are their babies, whether they know it or not, spiritual, because they are Yah's babies. You don't know who carries those seeds that don't know. He said the poor in spirit, that could be them out there. They wouldn't have to stand out there if we would have done what we were supposed to do. And me, my kids will tell you, my mama ain't got no sense. She'll fight to the, and I would. But Yah has called me to judge and to give his right now word to his people. Nor do they people have ears. Like he said, long as it's one, it's gone unto the wind, Deborah. Speak and let the wind take it where it needs to go. So I say unto you, this is still yet a lovely day in which the Most High Yah has made. And Sister Deborah is going to see this thing out and pour out more videos, because I'm going to put out one that he gave me in the midst of what I was experiencing in my kitchen among the water. When he came unto me, not only was he in me, but he was upon me, and he shared messages with me. And I was trying to hold the message, and he said, go get your pen and you write them down. So I had to write these messages down, and I'm going to speak that on my next video. So Sister Deborah don't want to hold you long, but I said I love you. And just understand, the Father's right hand is going to sum this up. So I want to say to you all, shalom and shalom.